and whether it was passing or throwing, I thought we did a good job executing when we needed it.
Austin Ward.
Dwayne, this might sound kind of weird given the touchdowns you threw for, the yardage and all that, and how many points you wound up scoring, but was there something just kind of off about the offense early? It didn't seem like you guys were quite clicking on all cylinders, if that's fair.
I'm not going to lie, we're probably still tired from last week. Definitely it was a little low in energy in practice during the week, but the best thing about today is we found a way to win. And even though it wasn't pretty at all times throughout the game, you know, it's football's about overcoming adversity.
Tim?
Yeah, Dwayne, I know touchdown passes are probably like kids. You wouldn't name a favorite, but the throwback to Johnny Dixon on the backside. What was your favorite touchdown pass today, and why?
Probably the one to Terry. No, actually, no. The one to Ben was pretty good too.
Yeah.
I thought all of them were my favorite.
Bill?
Dwayne, you had some long ones, but most of them were quick passes, let your receivers do the work. How much of that is what this offense is going to and already has evolved into? Get the ball to the playmakers' hands, let them make plays.
Definitely what we do on offense. You know, people are going to blitz us. Blitz us a lot today. Got a lot of coverage. So we got to be able to find plays where we can get rid of the ball fast. That's what we learned from Penn State a couple weeks ago. So just being able to dump it off to Paris and let him get 80 yards, it makes it way easier for me.
Doug?
Dwayne, to have 455 yards and 6 touchdown passes, does that feel like, hey, that was a great game? Or does it just sort of feel like that's what you expect from yourself and this offense?
Yeah, we're definitely routine. Every game you want to light it up. But, I mean, definitely was a good statistical game, but I'm glad we got the win most importantly.
Second row down.
You know, it's very businesslike, Dwayne. I mean, you have been all season.
Yeah.
Your teammates.
I'm not tripping.
Can just talk about the focus this team has, and you know, you just threw for 455 yards, 6 touchdowns, but you're very businesslike. Why is that?
Just because we know what the end goal is, and we want to be in that championship. We want to be the Big Ten championship, and it's just one game at a time. College football, every game matters. So every game we're going in there with our business bag in, and we're ready to go win the game. I'm pretty excited.
Second row, Dan.
Dwayne, you mentioned that you guys were a little tired from last week. The energy wasn't quite there, but you were still able to win, which last year at Iowa you guys weren't able to do. Do you see that as a sign of growth for this team, that you guys are able to overcome that and take care of business this time around?
Yeah, I mean, you never want to lose a game, but last year we referenced a lot about how we lost to Iowa after beating Penn State and how everyone had their hands down going into the ring. So this week we just kept on, you know, making the focus about not letting the game go away from us, and definitely shows a lot of growth, a lot of maturity on our side of the ball. And defense did a good job today too. So I'm gonna keep the ball rolling.
To the left, Art.
Dwayne, 6 touchdowns, all the yardage, 23 points. Is that what an Ohio State letdown looks like?
You know, even though we won, it didn't feel like one of the best games we played. So crazy thing is we can keep getting better. So let down, no, but definitely some room for improvement.
Front row. Taylor. Yep.
Dwayne, kind of going off of that, I mean, you know, a lot of people, you know, may think that this was a lackluster performance, and a lot of people say, hey, you avoided the loss and you got through the past week. Do you guys feel like this was a good performance for you, especially coming off of that physical game against Penn State?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty solid, things to work on, but that's just the game we play, and everything's going to be perfect. And we just got to be able to deal with that and be able to know that, look, we won the game. Things we got to work on, of course, but, you know, be satisfied with the W, and look forward to playing Minnesota.
Last question, Jim.
Yeah, Dwayne, specifically, what were they getting done up front? I'm talking about Indiana to kind of confound you guys running the ball today, but especially between the tackles. What was going on there?
A lot of 5-man, 6-man pressure. You know, some rifles to the field, some pressure from the boundary, and pass protection. If I slid one way, the linebacker wrapped around because running back was in protection. So there's a lot of stuff that you got to be able to watch in film and be able to see in the game. Indiana does a lot of, you know, exotic looks, some variety up front, and definitely in the back end. But once we figure out what we're going to do against them, you know, we came out on top.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is everyone coming down?
Hi, guys. Thanks for coming. As always, like to thank our fans, packed house again, and the alumni. You know, we had our pep rally on Friday, and then the captain's dinner. That was an awesome experience. And then the pep rally, or the skull session, was just full house. It was a great day. So thanks to the alums for coming back. Thanks to our student body and Buckeye Nation. Dwayne, obviously, great night. Incredible night, 455 yards, 6 touchdowns. Still not, you know, offensively had a lot of yards, still not doing what we need to do in the run game. And that's something that's alarming. And so we just got to continue to work on that. Defensively was not what we expected in the first half. You know, guys are making plays on us. That a combination of poor pass rush and not locking on your guys. You know, we've been fine against the run, but the pass has been killing us, and that's going to bite us. That's something that we have got to get fixed. But I'll answer your questions for you.
Front row right here, Tim.
Yeah, Urban, what happened to you on the sideline there where you had to go down for a while, like you were in the 15-yard line or so, which was out of the coach's box? But I'm not laughing, but you know what I'm saying. But what I understood you.
Sure you are.
Yeah. But you ran into someone. I mean, what happened there?
I just not dealt with headaches in the past. Just deal with that headache.
So it was a headache. It wasn't a collision. Did you think you might have to leave the game at that point?
No.
I mean, when did it kind of come right for you? Just a few minutes later?
2 minutes ago. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Number two, the passing game. Obviously, like you just pointed out, I'm not saying bailed you out again. I mean, the guy threw for 455 and stuff. But Paris Campbell, McLaurin, and those guys, what did you just see come alive as the game went on?
Dwayne would be the first one to tell you, and it's no different than when the run game's cooking. You know, the offense line's the reason why. When the passing game's cooking, I mean, there are guys making phenomenal catches and runs, and the offense line's doing for the most part. I believe we gave up 1 sack tonight. We did have we had 2 turnovers, which are awful. But I mean, it's when he's an accurate passer now. You give him time, and you give him a good group of receivers. He's a dangerous guy.
Over to the left, Bill.
You're 6-0. It's halfway through the season now, but you mentioned the running game and defense.
Yeah.
How close are you, or how far away from you from being a championship caliber team?
We're not worried about that. We just got to get ready for Minnesota, and you guys saw what I saw. You know, at times we play outstanding, but the big hits and you know, we're a man coverage team, so we got to keep evaluating. But some of those weren't even on man coverage, so. We just have to keep working at it. I trust our staff. I trust our players. We're banged up a little bit, and we got to fight through it, but we got to play better.
Over to the right, Austin.
Urban, I know how cautious you are about what I'm about to say sometimes, but through 6 games, what Dwayne Haskins is doing, are you ready to give him your Heisman endorsement? Do you think that it's fair to include him in that conversation right now?
I never want to hold our players back. I don't know what else is out there. I'm worried about Minnesota, and I'm worried about our defense, and I'm worried about our run game, and worried about getting the guys healthy. But I certainly never want to take away for elite. I mean, 455 yards now, and high-end percentage completion. It was 33 of 44. I mean, that's. I'm not going to hold him back, but our focus is on Minnesota.
Over to the left, Doug.
Urban, you said you're a press man team, and we know you guys have been that since you switched to that. Is there any possibility of a consideration to, in some situations, backing off of that?
Yeah. Well, we do. If you notice, we do bail sometimes. We just hate to give the free access throws to people. And, you know, I think this was, you know, it didn't really snap at us like it did today. You know, Penn State, some guys made some plays on us, but today we really felt it. I felt it. That first half was awful.
Do you feel like the teams maybe are thinking we'll take some deep shots on these guys? Maybe we'll get a flag. Maybe we'll grab them.
That's what you're seeing.
Maybe they don't fear you guys like maybe sometimes they have in the past. That your guys are going to make a play.
Yeah, I know we have very good personnel, and it's just something we're going to keep working at. But your comment about are we going to take a look at other things, we already have.
Over to the right, Dan.
You mentioned the run game wasn't what you wanted, the defense wasn't what you wanted, but you guys were still able to take care of business. Last year against Iowa, after the Penn State game, you guys weren't able to do that. Do you see that as a sign of growth for where this team is this year?
I do, and you know, we practiced very hard this week after getting in at 3:30 in the morning. We were worried about that a little bit. The heat was there again all week, and but to get out of this thing 6-0 and go work on your fix some issues, that's what the game's all about.
And Malik Harris, I believe both left the game early. What happened with them?
They're still being evaluated. I don't know for sure yet.
Over to the left, Ari.
Urban, you guys put up a million yards and won by a lot. But there were a lot of things that you said in terms of the defense being bad in the first half and things looking a little bit out of whack. I mean, I know at the end it looks great and everything you guys did is probably what you wanted to do, but is that what an Ohio State letdown is looking like this year? Are you guys that good?
I'm not sure the question. If that's, I guess the question is, if that's a bad game and we still win like that, then that's a pretty good football team out there. We don't look at it like that. We are going to, you know, we're going to enjoy the win like we just did. We're going to go back and you know, you start giving up close to 300 yards passing in that first half. That's not. We did make some adjustments and Sacramento played much better.
How would you rate that game?
How would I rate it?
You know, was that a good game, bad game, off game?
You know, if I'm Paris Campbell, it's a hell of a game. He had 9 catches, 142 yards. Pass defense, you'd say, in pass pressure, pass rush, no. No, it was not very good. And then, you know, knocking people off the ball and running the ball, I don't think it was great, but I got to watch the videotape. We're just not consistent in that area. Those two areas are the problem child right now.
Okay, we got time for just one more set of questions. Rob, over to the right.
Urban, it's good to see McLaurin can do more than block, right? I mean, is that...
Yeah, he's a hell of a player, and you know, he's like I told you, you start using the word Evan Spencer when you see the way this kid plays. He's fantastic.
And also, can you go as far as you want to go with an offense like this, as dynamic as it is, but a defense that gives up big plays? Is there a trade-off?
No, you can't. At the end of the day, that you have to play great defense to get where you got to get, and I'm confident that we will. Because at times we've played great defense, and we have to get everybody healthy and get back to that.
Great. Coach, thank you very much. Hey, folks, just stay where you are. We're going to start off with some questions for Terry McLaurin here at the podium since we have him and no one else right now.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay. For the TV people over there, Terry McLaurin. It's like 6'1". For the good backdrop view. We'll open up with questions over here to the front. Tim?
Yeah. Terry, having a game like this again against your home state school, what does it mean to you, and what just kind of came right about the passing game as the game continued?
You know, I don't really know a whole lot of guys there anymore because I'm like a fifth year, 23 years old. So a lot of the guys have left, but I knew the punt returner, Jay Sean Harris, and it was good to see him back out there persevering through 3 torn ACLs. But our offense is continually getting better. Our defense really stepped up when we needed some stops. Obviously, they didn't play their best, but we didn't play our best as well. But at the end of the day, we got the W, and that's all we really care about. And Dwayne was just putting the ball on the money, and as receivers, we just want to make plays.
Did y'all change up anything passing-wise as the game went on? I mean, you know, obviously, a lot more crossing routes, things like that. What just kind of changed as the game evolved?
Well, you know, they were sending some different types of blitzes, and we wanted to get the ball out of Dwayne's hands a little quicker. So that just means as receivers we had to speed up our routes. But we had a good game plan coming in. We hit a lot of the routes that we practiced all week against the coverages we were going to see. But I feel like we did a good job adjusting on the fly, even after 2 tough picks.
Over to the left. Bill?
Terry, could you walk us through the touchdown catch, especially the second one, the diving one? And also, what's it like to play with a quarterback that you have to feel pretty confident is going to hit you right in stride, right where it's supposed to be?
Well, that makes my job, you know, harder. But it also makes it easier in the sense that I got to be on time because he's a really rhythmic quarterback. But if I run a good route and run out of it, then the ball's going to be right where it needs to be. So in that, they were running a box set, and that we knew they were going to do that in our bunch. And we knew the corner was trying to keep us from running a post because we've been running post. And on that play, we had a corner route. So the safety picked me up. I already had leverage, and Dwayne put it right on the money. So he did the tough part. O-line had great, you know, pass pro, and we made it happen at a big time in the game.
Front row right, Austin.
Terry, it felt like, I don't know, almost everybody on the team was tweeting about Dwayne Haskins for Heisman this week. Why is it that, I mean, you guys might be a little bit biased, but what is the candidacy there for him? Why do you guys endorse him so strongly there?
Well, first of all, we are biased because he's our guy, but I feel like a guy who's a first-year starter, I'm not going to take any credit from the guys that are doing what they're doing at other schools, but he's beat 2 top 15 teams on the road in tough environments and through a lot of adversity. And for a first-time quarterback to come in and do that with our offense and the numbers he's putting up, I think Coach Wilson said he was 1 yard away from some type of record. So, we want to just keep helping him out. And I tell the receivers all the time, the more plays we make for him, the more confidence it gives him, and it's just his ability takes over the rest.
Over to the far left. Doug?
Terry, I think 2 weeks ago you might have tweeted a highlight of you blocking 2 guys, and then I think in Penn State game you blocked 3 guys on a play. Were there any plays today where you blocked 4 guys?
No, I didn't have any of those, but Coach Wilson had a couple plays where we're blocking DNs, and it may not show up on the TV. Nobody probably got it, but I had 2 knockdowns on some DNs today too. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes for this team. I know Coach Wilson, that was a big play for him this week, especially against his former team. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes through the air, on the ground, special teams to help us win.
Did you feel like you needed to have 2 touchdowns today so you don't get typecast as a blocker?
No, not really. I don't really care a whole lot about the touchdowns. To be honest, I was more happy for Ben when he scored. He's just growing up before our eyes. But I just want to make the plays when they come to me. So whatever opportunities I get, I just want to make the plays, and I feel like I'm doing a better job of doing that than I did last year.
Okay, I'm going to ask everybody in the chairs to move your chairs over to the right. Terry, if you don't mind staying here. Guys, are we good with McLaurin? Yeah. We're good? Okay, Terry, great job. I'm going to have, hey, first of all, folks, with the chairs, move the chairs over to the right. I'm going to put Coach Day right here at the podium. Okay, cool. You're good to go, buddy. Thank you. Congrats. We got Coach Day at the podium, and we're going to have Chuck Borland at the front row right.
Coach Day, we continue to see amazing progress with your quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, 455 yards today. From a coaching standpoint, what are you seeing through him? I mean, how is he playing right now?
Well, I think he's making a lot of progress, obviously.